Would I be in a wrong if I cut off my entire childhood friend group after they secretly planned a hen do and didn't invite me? Posted by you/chaotic pumpkins. My name is Sam. I'm nearly 33 years old, and for the last 20 years, I've been part of a group of 7 friends. We all met when we were about 13, and even though we grew up and moved to different cities, we kept our group chat alive. Some of us were closer than others, but I always thought of them as my oldest and most meaningful friends, the kind of people who would be in my life forever. We had a tradition of celebrating big events together. Birthdays, graduations, engagements, we always made the effort, even if it meant traveling across the country. I was never the most active in the group chat, especially in recent years. I started a PhD and told everyone I'd be less present for a while. Still, I made sure to show up when it mattered. I traveled for everyone's 30th birthdays and always tried to support my friends, even from a distance. One weekend, I opened Instagram and saw something that completely blindsided me. 5 of the girls from the group were on a long weekend hen do for Rachel, one of the group's weddings. There were photos of them laughing, drinking, and having a great time. I had absolutely no idea this was happening. I wasn't invited. I didn't get a heads up. No one mentioned it at all. The only other friend not there has 2 kids, so I assumed she couldn't go, but I was simply excluded. The whole thing was planned behind my back. What hurt the most wasn't just missing the hen do, it was the silence. Not one person reached out to say, "Hey, just so you know," or gave me a chance to understand. They just carried on like everything was normal. I felt like I'd been erased from the group. I tried to process what was happening. I replayed the last few years in my head, wondering if I'd done something wrong. I hadn't been as active as I used to be, but I'd always made an effort for the big moments. I told them about my PhD and how it was taking up most of my time, but I never thought that would mean I'd be excluded from something as important as Rachel's hen do. After finding out, I reached out to 2 of the girls who I considered my closest friends. I needed answers. I needed to know if I'd done something to deserve this. Both of them were shocked that I wasn't included. They admitted they were confused by Rachel's decision and told me there hadn't been any falling out or issue from my end. They were really upset to see how hurt I was. When I told them I was thinking of leaving the group chat and cutting ties completely, unfollowing everyone and stepping back, they got really emotional. They said they didn't want me to go and that it felt extreme. But I didn't know if I could stay. I felt humiliated. Like a spare part in a friendship I thought I was still part of. The trust felt broken. Part of me wanted to just walk away quietly, not to punish anyone, but to protect myself and give myself the dignity of closure. The other part of me was scared I'd look like the dramatic one or regret walking away from 20 years of history. I posted online to ask for advice. I want to know if I would be the asshole if I cut them all off after this, or if I should just distance myself from Rachel, since it sounded like she made the final decision. Relevant comments. Commenter. Slinky Malinky 20. It sounds like you've been not around for a few years at this point. Your example of showing up was when everyone turned 30, and you are now almost 33. You also told them you wouldn't be available for years. I don't see this as you being excluded so much as either the bride following what she thought you set up as the parameters, you weren't going to be around/available, or the bride matching your energy. You don't put anything in, don't expect others to. I've had very busy professional and personal times with school, work, kids, but I never told people, hey, count me out for years. That you did seems to be your choice, which is yours to make. But it seems like talking out of both sides of your mouth to make that choice and then act shocked and betrayed when the others respected your boundary. I'm guessing it's a big misunderstanding that can be resolved by a phone call, not one to make the bride feel guilty or cause drama, but just to say, I saw you all went away, and I hope you all had a blast. I'm coming out of the weeds at school now, and would love to join you all again going forward. OP's response. Yes, this does sound like I said goodbye for a few years. So instead of seeing them every few months, it was more like twice a year. We are all based in different cities. I do take some responsibility for this, but I will say I think being excluded from this event is a step too far for me, but definitely doing some thinking to work on this. Thank you for the advice. I am still thinking the bride knew that this would cause a huge problem, and I need to understand if this was with bad intent, cowardness, or some other reason. She was aware this would cause a problem. Maybe a group message is a good shout. Thank you. Commenter. Strong. Conclusion 52. It's not only the non-invite, but the fact no one told you had to find out via social media. Are you invited to the wedding? Either way, I take a step back from everyone, even the 2 closest friends. Why didn't they tell you? Why keep it a secret? OP's response. This is exactly the main struggle. They have openly said they knew I would be upset, and I think that's a big part why they couldn't tell me beforehand. I believe I am invited to the wedding, but she's not sent the invites out yet. I have told the 2 of them I need a bit of time away and that I'm still in my gut reaction phase. They have apologized a lot, and one started crying when she thought I was cutting her off. So after this, I really don't want to do this with these two, but we definitely have things to work on. Commenter, folding it up. What is this, the DOD? Didn't the innocent friends read the email/text numbers? Did anyone ask, hey, why isn't Susie coming? You are justified in feeling terribly hurt. You would not be considered an asshole if you didn't want to continue the group relationship. OP's response. They did say that to each other, but never as a whole group. They felt bad about it, but felt they couldn't do much about it. Commenter. Disastrous_gate_5559. Bullshit. After 20 years of friendship, they couldn't do anything? Not even so much as ask their other 20-year-long friend/bride/host why? These are the weak excuses of backboneless people, and I'm so sorry they treated you like this. I wouldn't feel like I want to be friends with people that treat me this way. Commenter. Lyndon Lil Blue Balls. NTA. You don't have to cut them off completely, but maybe just quiet quit. Don't make any effort if you aren't getting reciprocal effort. Put the group chat on DND and only reply to texts sent directly to you. Only answer calls, don't make them. Check in on yourself in a month. Are you happier than before? Are they making more of an effort to include you? Have any of the others even noticed you stepping back? OP's response. So after a bit of thinking, I have taken myself out of the group chat and don't think I can forgive the bride. I'm not making a big song and dance about it, but taking myself away from the situation and people involved. Those who want to remain in my life will let me know. One of the gals I spoke to has messaged me several times, organizing a catch-up for this weekend, and is planning to come visit. These questions to ask myself are really helpful. Thank you. I feel like after this there may be a couple of friends left from this group, but I've decided to focus on other friendships for the moment. OP's additional context. 1. I have reminded them over the past couple of years, but absolutely agree I should have been more communicative. I didn't go into the nitty-gritty in this post, as I wanted to be brief. 2. For more context, after speaking to my two friends, they were chatting about the fact I wasn't invited for months before the event. It was very conscious and discussed a lot, but usually only between 2 or 3 people at a time, apparently. I asked them both a question, what do you think my reaction would be when I found this out? And they both said, absolutely devastated. More than anything, it's the fact they didn't tell me or talk to the bride about the repercussions of this on what I thought was a tight-knit group. Oh, and absolutely feeling a little low as I'm in my final year, so taking that into account, but I also thought they may have taken it into account as well. Waiting a week to decide what to do here, but appreciate the direct comments. Thinking it may just be the bride I need to have a proper chat with, and possibly ending a friendship. Update. 7 days later. Sorry for the slow reply. I've been away at a conference and needed a bit of space to think. I didn't expect the post to get so much attention, but I really appreciated the honest responses. It made me feel more justified in how hurt I felt. Since posting, I've spoken to a few people who know the group and situation well. Every single one of them was surprised, and most were very clear I should cut off the bride, and possibly the others too. Just to add some more context, I was a lot quieter about a year ago. I was doing my PhD and also going through a tough time in my personal life, dealing with some serious issues involving suicide and addiction. They all knew about this and had offered words of support. Over the last 6 months or so, I'd started chatting to them a bit more again. Things felt pretty normal. I had a phone call with the bride where she asked for wedding advice, and we also had a proper catch-up. I saw 3 of the others from the group in person not long after. What makes this all harder to process is knowing that during those moments, when we were catching up and everything seemed fine, they already knew about the hen weekend and didn't say a word. Since posting, I've quietly removed myself from the group chat and taken the bride off socials. She did message me saying she heard I was upset and was happy to chat, but to be honest, it felt more like damage control. If she wanted to talk honestly, there were plenty of chances to do that earlier. At this point, I've tried to understand why she would do this, and the only explanations I can land on are, 1. She deliberately didn't want me there and didn't have the decency to be upfront about it. 2. She felt awkward and avoided the situation entirely. Or 3. She didn't realize how hurtful it would be, though I find that hard to believe. Whatever the reason, it's caused a rift with some of my most important friendships and put us all in an incredibly uncomfortable situation. It's made it clear that this isn't the kind of friendship I want to keep in my life. 2 of the others still haven't acknowledged anything. I haven't removed them yet. I'm just keeping my distance and taking time to process. This whole thing has been a sharp wake-up call. I thought things were back on solid ground. Clearly, they weren't. Thanks again to everyone who took the time to comment. It really helped me get clear and act from a place that felt calm, not reactive.